Hello students, it's good to have you all here with CS Lab. This is a last minute video for a last minute revision for communicative skills. After going through all your course notes and tutorials and lectures, what do you need to pay attention to in the exams? And this is an exclusive video to help you in that direction. What must I prepare for in the exams? All right. So basically, you should note that there are going to be three sections: section A, section B, and section C. What we are going to do in this video in particular is to look at what goes into the first session, or the session that is on ambiguity, dangling, and misrelated modifiers, because my research has shown me that students who perform well in the ComSkill second semester exams really do well when it comes to the session that is on ambiguity, dangling, and misrelated modifiers. So stick and stay with me as we go through some questions and answers and what to do when you have questions of such nature. Okay, let's start. So I have with me some questions that I think we solved during the quiz period, and then some exercises in class. So let's quickly go to the board, okay, as usual. So I'm going to go through some sample questions with answers, and then I will leave some exercises for you to do as you prepare for your exams tomorrow. All right. So I have here, and the instruction says that rewrite the following sentences, correcting any error of ambiguity and misrelated constructions that you may find. And here there's a caution: do not change the original meaning of the sentences. In your attempt to disambiguate the ambiguous sentences and to reposition the misplaced modifiers and then to introduce subjects in your dangling structures, do not change the original meaning of the sentences. Make sure you stick within the context in which the sentences are given. So question 1, we have here: the security agency enlists tall men and women. Should I write the questions on the board? Okay. So here we find that it's an ambiguous statement. The security and the tall men and women suggests a situation where we are looking for just tall men and women. So in disambiguating, you could have this possible interpretation. And when you are solving ambiguous statements, or when you are disambiguating ambiguous statement, look at the possible interpretation that statement gives, and then you take one of the interpretation as your answer for the ambiguous statement. So for this one, the possible answers could be: the security agency enlists men and women who are tall, because it looks as if the tall is for just tall men or tall men. Which is which? Okay, so we could have the tall men and women who men and women who are tall. It could also be that the security agency enlists both tall men and women, so that the both will qualify this group of people. The other possible interpretation that you can provide as your answer is that the security agency enlists tall men and tall women. All right, so that we know that this tall is not only for the men, but it includes women as well. And then lastly, you could also have a possibility where you have the security agency enlists women and tall men. Women and tall. So here the focus is on women. You want women of any category, and then tall men as well. So that is it. John yelled at the Halloween dog in his underwear. In this example, we find that it is clear case of misplaced or misrelated modifier. And what we have to do with misplaced modifier, okay, John yield. John yielded at the Halloween dog in his underwear. Okay, so it looks as if the dog in the John yielded at the Halloween dog. Okay, in his underwear. It's as if the Halloween dog was in his underwear. So we just restructure. And in this, what we need to do is to bring commas to identify. So John, we take the modifier and place it close to the word that it is giving more description to. So John in his underwear. So you separate the modifier with commas. Failure to do that will attract a marks. Okay. A mark. So John in his underwear yielded at the Halloween dog. This is it. You just take the modifier which is in his underwear, that is so far away from the word it is modifying, you place it close and then you solve it. Let's move on. The third one says that the manager found her an excellent accountant. Here you could have, or the possible interpretation could be that the manager found her to be an excellent accountant, or the manager found an excellent accountant for her. The next one says that the man almost lost all his investment. Now, we have a group of modifiers known as the limiting modifiers, and with these limiting modifiers, we have almost, we have yes, almost, only, those ones. Here, it's either you lose something or you don't. You don't almost lose something. Okay. You don't almost lose something. So we find out that the almost is not supposed to modify lost. It's supposed to modify something else in the sentence. So the possible answer is the man lost almost all his investment. It is the investment that was almost lost and not the action lost that was almost. It's either you lose something or you don't lose. It's either you fail or you don't fail. It's not you almost fail. You fail almost every quiz. Do you understand? The next one, the woman called her sister Deborah. Here we only need a comma to separate so that it doesn't make it ambiguous. So the woman called her, comma, sister Deborah, or the woman called her sister, comma, Deborah. So just by placing the comma before her or before her sister, disambiguate the statement. Now we have biting dogs can kill you. Here, the possible interpretations could be dogs that bite can kill you, or the biting of dogs can kill you. Here we find that there is a use of ing that is used as a modifier. Yes, you should expect this in your exams. You would have an ing form of a verb that is used as a modifier or is used as a verb, and that is what brings about the ambiguous statement here. Is it the act of dogs biting or dogs that bite? So you disambiguate it. Determined, the race was won. This is a clear example of a dangling structure where we do not have a subject in here. So by introducing a subject in here, we are able to correct this dangling structure. So we could have, because James was determined, he won the race. Here there are so many ways you can use a subordinator to do that. You could use because, you could use since, you could have since James was determined. Any subject you can place in there. Since Kojo was determined, since Adjo was determined. But your subject should agree with the pronoun. So when you use Since Ajua was determined, the pronoun to use would be she won the race. If you choose to use since Kofi was determined, then the pronoun would be he won the race. You get it? The other possible interpretation could be that determined, Ajua won the race. You could use any subjects of your choice. Determined, the student won the race. All right, the chicken is ready to eat. Possible interpretations. The chicken is ready for us to eat, or the chicken is ready to be eaten, or we are ready to eat the chicken. The next one says to follow the right process, the crime was reported. Here, if you have such structures, you could use these options. To follow the right procedure, you must. We introduce a subject, okay? I must. One must. So we need a subject in here. Report the crime. Or if one wants to follow the right procedure, one must report the crime. If you so there's the pronoun you use in the introductory part in the introductory in the subordinator, the subordinating clause should be the same as the main clause, should match with the main clause, the pronoun you use in the main clause. So if you want to follow the right procedure, you must report the crime. If he wants to follow the right procedure, he must report the crime. So that is how we do it. Now, my siblings are not my competitors, but my friends. This is an ambiguous statement. So the possible interpretation you could have is, my siblings are not my competitors, but my friends are my competitors. You understand? Or we could have, my siblings are not my competitors, but they, that is my siblings, are my friends. Do you get it? The next question says that singing all day, his voice was lost. So because Kofi had been singing all day, he lost his voice. Or because Amma has been singing all day, she lost her voice. Or the child lost her voice because the child had been singing all day. So it's just a matter of introducing a subject. But when you look at this one, the main clause says his voice was lost, meaning that the pronoun you choose should be a masculine one so that it agrees with the voice here. And remember, you're not changing the original sentence. So we could have, that's why we have, because Kofi had been singing, you can place Jojo there or Yao there, so far as the name is a masculine name and then it agrees with the pronoun his. Because Yao had been singing all day, he lost his voice. Okay. The next question says that Kofi didn't abandon the project because he was sick. Here, the possible interpretations are Kofi abandoned the project not because he was sick, okay? Or we can have a situation where Kofi didn't abandon the project since he was sick. Or we could also have, because Kofi was sick, he didn't abandon the project. There was one question that was very controversial in there, and many of you or many people suggested that there was nothing wrong with it, but this is a possible interpretation. Considering her age, the girl's pregnancy was unexpected. This is the possible interpretation you could have. Considering her age, one may think or one may say the girl's pregnancy was unexpected. You introduce a subject in there. One may think or one may say. Or when one considers the girl's age, her pregnancy was unexpected. The last one we have, cheered on by the home crowd, the second goal came as no surprise. So the possible interpretations are: as the Black Starlets were cheered on by the home crowd, the second goal came as no surprise. As the players were cheered on by the home crowd, they unsurprisingly scored the second goal. Or we have cheered on by the home crowd, the players unsurprisingly scored the second goal. And lastly, cheered on by the home crowd, the Black Stars unsurprisingly scored a second goal. These are the possible interpretations. And then the last, we watched that colorful ball. The possible interpretations are: we watched that colorful ball game, or we watched that colorful dance ball, and then the rest. So mind you need to make sure that you're writing the right words, because we will deduct half a mark up to 2 for errors of spelling, tense, punctuation, and concord. We did all of these during last semester, so we are expecting that you put them in practice as you write your exams. So that was the quiz. Then let's also look at some questions with answers, and then I'll leave some questions for you to try. Now we have: the woman sent the dress to the seamstress with a spoiled zip. We find here that there is a misplaced modifier in here. So what we have to do is to take the modifier from its wrong place and position it to the subject or the element in the sentence that needs the modifier. So the answer would be: the woman sent the dress with the spoiled zip to the seamstress, and not the seamstress with a spoiled zip. Okay. Dancing at the hall, my wallet was stolen. Should I go back to the board? Dancing at the hall, my wallet was stolen. So here, whilst I was dancing at the hall, my wallet was stolen. Or dancing in the room or in the hall, I had my wallet stolen. These are the possible interpretation you could give. The next one says that the girl ate the groundnut on the chair. Was it the groundnut that was on the chair that she ate, or she was sitting on the chair when she ate the groundnut? So possible interpretation: the girl ate the groundnuts that were on the chair. Another possible interpretation: whilst sitting on the chair, the girl ate the groundnuts. Okay, so as she was sitting on the chair, that was when she ate the groundnuts. The next question says that the president's appointment was criticized. I want us to pay attention to this. The president's appointment was criticized. Okay, so it's like those of the appointed. Okay, so the president's appointment surprised everyone. Here, is it the appointment of the president by a committee, or the appointment that the president made? That surprised everyone. So we need to clarify that. Okay. So it could be the appointment made by the president, okay, or the appointment of the president by the committee surprised everyone. All right, so I'm going to talk more about this in the next video, so make sure you don't miss the next video, because I'm going to provide patterns from these questions that we have solved. Okay, so don't forget to share and also to subscribe to this channel for more notification of new videos. Yes, so So let's look at the patterns that we've identified from solving these sample questions. It's bye for now.